run a lot of swim speed because of the movement style that I use. A lot of people who play 10 attack aren't even that movement heavy. You see maybe a couple swim speed ups and walk speed up, and nothing crazy.
Right on, and that is, and you're right, that Dan the man with the tan, that is me, Stu, alongside Astro, who's playing for Squishy What in this particular tournament, this Splatoon 4v4 tournament at the Switch Meetup at the laboratory in Splatboro, Pennsylvania. Now, what we have going on here, the genetically altered mutant squids versus the cuttlefish. You took the genetically altered mutant squids to task at the in the beginning game, but what have you noticed about them, what they do well?
Muddy definitely, he's
that's the cuttlefish.
He's the main slayer. Oh, the genetically, oh, sorry, wrong team.
Yeah, 100% MC, Moosh, and Dan.
It seems with them, map control is really the key to win. If you can cut out their map control, you can cut out Moosh. And Moosh, when he had map control, he was able to just slay with his roller.
Yeah.
And they're relying on his slaying while they fill in and push a lot, and that kind of falls on. I think if they're gonna win in this, they need to make sure they fill in turfing a lot better so that Moosh has enough around him to work with.
And we are ready to go. We are playing Splat Zones at Snapper Canal. Definitely an interesting map for zones, but we're going to see who can get the best of either the cuttlefish or the genetically altered mutant squids. And here we go. It is the Splattershot Junior, NZAP 89, the Splattershot Pro, and a Tri-Slosher Neveu for the Cuttlefish. And again, the Undercover Brella making its debut here on the stream for the genetically altered mutant squids.
Oh.
And along with the NZAP 85, I believe it was. The 85, yes. Along with the Splat Roller and the Hero Dually replicas. Oh, you finished Hero mode, aren't you, Fancy?
Well, you can see they're trying to bomb their way back in right now. It looks like... Ooh, they've got a double kill on the right. They're going for zone. Can the Tri-Slosher knock him out? Ink armor. There's one.
Cora Cuddle doing work with that Tri-Slosher Nouveau, but Moosh is there to meet her with the NZAP 85, and it is a 90 to 61 advantage right now.
Yep.
But they are cutting into that lead very, very quickly.
He holds down the zone. He's waiting. It's rather interesting with an NZAP. Usually you're painting a lot more.
Right, but Moosh is a bit more aggressive a player than one might think. Trades off with the Splattershot Pro.
Muddy's just holding down. At the moment, he's bombing out. It looks like they're locked out.
Doing with that Splattershot Pro. And
and he gets a kill on the Brella.
Oh, wow. Very nearly fell into the water, did Muddy. He's going to have to watch out for that. Oh, that's a triple, young man. Slaps it up the baseline and gets himself a triple, and he cuts the lead down to 35. And it's going to be very hard for the genetically altered mutant squids to recover from this.
And they're definitely grouped together. They're going to be easy to pick off if they don't get some key kills here. And nope, it looks like Muddy is going to slay two of them down. The last one's just kind of stuck. He's fallen back a bit. If his teammates can reach him, nope, that's game.
Oh, that is it. A knockout victory for the Cuttlefish. And my goodness, we saw Muddy doing some work with that Splattershot Junior.
Absolutely. It's actually pretty interesting because it's not normally an aggro weapon, but he took it out and he just slayed with it.
Absolutely, and I mean certainly has its good capabilities, as you saw. Nine splats, but those two specials with the ink armor. I mean, ink armor certainly an interesting weapon when it comes to the meta.
Absolutely. Oftentimes you don't even want to start a pushback. You'll often just give up lead to wait for a pushback. While your Zap or your Junior or whatever your Tri, they charge up an ink armor so that you guys have a bit of a buffer.
Right.
Because you guys, if you charge in as a team with ink armors, you automatically have a huge advantage. The other team oftentimes really has to fall back and play defensive rather than hold.
Right. I mean, it's interesting when we talk about weapons with offensive capabilities like the Tenta missiles or the Stingray, kind of starting pushes on their own, or the bomb rushes, of course. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting how a defensive weapon like the ink armor can do the same thing, almost by itself. So it is interesting when you say stuff like that, but it definitely is a weapon that emphasizes team coordination.
Absolutely. And don't forget the inkjet in this meta is really taking off. And for good reason. Let's see if anybody applies it here.
It's definitely a weapon that makes you hit your shots. It's a very skill-based weapon. You need to be accurate.
Or predictive.
You can't be like me, just running around with the Sploosh-O-Matic all the time. And here we go with Splat Zones. Are we seeing someone employing a range blaster? That could be Muddy. And in fact, it is. We saw him employ that to great effect in
there's a double to start.
Gets a double. I mean, closes in a bit more than he would have liked, I'm sure.
That's a great trade, though. It created a massive opening, forced the opponents to fall back. And now they're locked out. Can they make some key kills to get back in this?
It is a rather difficult zone to get back into unless you really know your way around the map. So we're going to have to see Gurin doing his work with the rainstorm, the ink storm, excuse me. Oh, but gets caught with the kill missiles.
Can they come in and capitalize this? They're pushing zone pretty hard. They're pushing. Nope.
Oh, but he gets caught with a few Tenna missiles of his own, and Sumo Storm saving his team from getting into the penalty, and they are down past 50.
Oh, and they're able to cut off the Tenna missiles this time. No opening yet.
Going to have to see. There are super jumps coming in, but it is 4-3 on the field. Going to have a bit more of a coordinated effort if they want to get back into this zone.
They're going to need some key kills. They've got less than 20 seconds left. Down to 10.
Oh.
Tenna missiles didn't get any of the kills. That's it. If they can't get
could
zones,
very well
that's
be.
done.
Will that be it?
That's
yes,
it.
it will, just in the nick of time. And that is it. The Cuttlefish from pillar to post taking this victory. And they go up 2-0. And that will be it for them in tower control. Splat zones, excuse me. We'll have to see if tower control is employed here later.
Yes, sir.
But what we have not seen, and this is a wild card here, perhaps the genetically altered mutant squids need to take a set. Perhaps they go Rainmaker. No one has played that yet.
Yeah, it would be rather interesting to actually see what they play in Rainmaker. The roller might actually be pretty useful in pushing ahead of the Rainmaker to get some key kills if they can capitalize on that. If Moose plays roller.
You can also do the two cameras. Sorry, we're talking to production as well, but you're absolutely right. Rainmaker, a mode that emphasizes mobility and movement. But here we are with Clam Blitz is the pick by the genetically altered mutant squids. And we're going to see it as the best 2 out of 3 series with that as well. So we're going to see how they employ their weapons here as well. Now, when you play Clam Blitz, it's definitely a polarizing mode, if nothing else, in the competitive community. But when you play it, how do you but when you play Clam Blitz, what is your main philosophy behind that, or your team's even? If you don't want to give too much away, I get that.
Even more so than the other modes. Clam Blitz is a mode that really you need to work together as a team. Everyone on the team needs to be aware of how many clams everyone has at one time. They need to call it out to each other. They need to say, I'm collecting for clam, you do this, or I'll do that. A shot caller on the team, taking the shots and really telling people, you do this while I do this. You know, it works incredibly well for Clam Blitz. And we'll see if they're able to pull themselves together, either team, and really work together.
We'll have to see who's captaining the ship of the genetically altered mutant squids, but right now seems to be Muddy leading the way for the Cuttlefish. He has quite the support staff around him. Cora Cuttle going with an Octobrush Neveu.
Interesting.
It seems to be a Francophile, this Cora Cuttle, but a Francophile? I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Excuse me.
They've got 2 pushing down the left lane. Let's see. Cora Cuttle's going to avoid it. If the opposing team...
And already the barrier was broken. The Tentatek splatter shot doing just enough. And again, that is the Cuttlefish employing an NZAP 89.
Oh!
The Tentatek splatter shot.
That's
Ink Brush and Octobrush Neveu.
Ink Brush is just sitting and waiting, trying to wait. It's interesting because neither team actually...
And all of a sudden, wow, you talk about fast-paced action.
Yep. Oh! And it looks like he's going to push up a little too far ahead and get picked off. Let's see if they can save the ball.
And all of a sudden, we have another power clam on the side of Gurin, looking to make his push in. And he certainly has a weapon with the speed for it in an Ink Brush, but does not quite have the defenses.
MC. Double Double right there. Let's see if they can keep pushing. They're not falling back. And that's a triple.
That is a trade that he will certainly take. But
they're
oh my
gonna get the
goodness,
Clam
they're
Blitz.
going to get it nonetheless. Wow, look at that.
And Moosh and Dan are just waiting and sitting. EMTA is going to push up a little bit. It looks like Sumo pushing down the right side. He's trying to get another opening and get a key kill. Let's see if they can push back. Oh, there's a kill on the left.
Oh, wait a second. We're going to have to see here if Moosh can push through.
Oh.
He cannot. It will be Sumo Storm again doing some great work with that NZAP 89.
Effectively playing very solid defense. They're trying to employ the inkjet right now to create a large opening. Sumo with lots of clams.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite have enough to make the
No.
power clam. And Moosh sneaking in with the arrow spray. Well played by Moosh. And, tried to get the kill on the gentleman with the 10 missiles, but not quite doing
Not
it.
quite fast enough.
It's
He's
Kieran
gonna
coming
come in.
through
He
with
got
the
it.
power clam. And what a...
And they're
Comes
gonna-
right through and dunks it all over the Cuttlefish.
And they're going to
all
extend
over
the lead.
all over the Mutant Squids, excuse me.
It looks like the Mutant Squids are really just on defense the entire time. They can't create an opening to really push back. Muddy's going to get 2 right here, and he's going to get picked off trying to go for basket.
Got greedy there, MC, the center, stopping it like Dikembe Mutombo.
And there goes another.
We're going to have to see how that shakes out between these two, but getting used to the, goodness gracious, this is an absolute clam collector fest right here.
Absolutely. They have a huge opening. 2 down. Let's see if they can put they're collecting clams again. Are they going to extend their lead for the knockout? And they get the brush. He's got 6. Oh, that's a little scary. They've got one coming.
Hang on a second. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Whoa.
And there it is. Breaking the barrier down to 71.
And he's gonna bomb. He's gonna curling rush. Oh, watch out
Oh,
behind.
didn't watch behind him, and all of a sudden Sumo Storm could have just stopped that push all by himself.
Absolutely. That was very clutch. At the moment, it doesn't look like the Mutant Squids are really gonna have much to work with. If they want to do something, got to do it fast. Got a minute and a half
Oh, wow.
left.
Doing the work all by himself. Has an auto bomb to negotiate. Does so.
And that double kill by MC is going to be pretty clutch in stopping them. But no, they're going to break the barrier anyway.
Couldn't quite get the 10 missiles off in time. Perhaps a bad place to employ them. But they will, in fact, defend their basket. And we will have to see what happens with MC. With that ink brush, again, a very speedy weapon, but he will need the support of his teammates in order to make it to the basket.
And they've got a kill down the middle. Let's see if MC can capitalize.
Not really finding many lanes with which to work. Again, those squid beacons, as you can see,
He's
doing
going
the
to baller
work.
in. And they were waiting on the baller, and it's going to break. And he's going to be denied.
Wow, incredible teamwork by all of these guys. Oh my goodness, and just rushing in with no regard for human life. Dunks it all over the Cuttlefish, all over the Squids, excuse me.
Absolutely.
The
That might be
Cuttlefish
it.
doing work. Cora Cuttle doing quite a bit of work herself.
Oh, that double splat, that might have saved the game.
Well, it saves them from the knockout, and we'll have to see what happens here. They will need an absolute veritable miracle from their entire team. And they got one in, but can they capitalize? The zone being
It looks like they don't have enough clams. That's it. That's it. Game's up.
there it is. Not enough to get the objective back, and that will do it. It is 1-0 to the Cuttlefish, and in quite the hectic game. Boy, you talk about offense, and you talk about what Cuttlefish just did right there.
Absolutely. You just saw an incredible amount of teamwork from Cuttlefish compared to their opponents, and a lot of slaying by Muddy once again. But let's not forget about Sumo. He really stepped it up this match and got some clutch kills that created openings, and they were able to capitalize.
You're absolutely right. I mean, folks, just go back a little bit and see the statistics of that match. As you saw, Muddy with about 15 kills and Cora not far behind with some kills of her own. But my goodness, just the teamwork and the effort, the coordination that went into that. And you're absolutely right. It seemed like one person led that charge, and all of a sudden there were at least 2 people right behind them.
Yes.
Just dumping clams into the basket, and there was really not much the Squids could do about that.
Absolutely. The difference between the two teams really was the Cuttlefish just pushed in together, and each person pushing in knew their role, and everybody had their objective.
You're absolutely right, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the genetically altered mutant squids respond. Of course, they did pick the game mode, so certainly they have something in mind. But do you think they'll be counterpicking, or what's going on?
Well, they did play some very solid defense. I think they might end up playing a little more offensive comp, because they held off a lot of pushes.
We'll have to see what these Squid Kids do, and it is Clam Blitz at Schellendorf Institute. Interesting map to pick.
Absolutely.
It's certainly a little bit harder to access each basket, and we see a range blaster being employed by the Cuttlefish, as well as the N-Zap, the Ink Brush, and the is that a slosher?
Well, the blaster's going to push in and get some key kills for the opener. Let's see if they can capitalize and start collecting on it.
But they will have to face the Hero Dually replicas, the Ink Brush, the Splat Roller, and the N-Zap 89 of their own.
Sumo with the flank. Oh, and he's going to be... He's
going
to get the kill on Moosh. That was a great splat.
Moosh was reaching for it, you saw, but just could not quite get it. Sumo did a good job of getting out of the way.
He stayed alive. And there goes. Wow, they're tossing it around. They knew. All right.
I mean, and there it is. Look at the coverage on this map. Just how effectively breakdown. Just how quickly they got over to the side of this map.
Well, you see, over by the basket, over by the opposing team's basket, that's what's important right now. They've effectively got the opposing team locked out with turf control. They're starting to come in together, however. Let's see if they can capitalize and push in together. But it looks like Cuttlefish have finally fallen back.
And that will be the end of that push, but what a push it was, getting all the way, more than halfway down.
That was a nice splat by Moosh, but he's going to be picked off in mid. They've got one sneaking over the glass. Ooh.
Oh, well done. Get it in. And if anyone had the capability of getting out of there, it was probably MC with the Ink Brush, but nonetheless, it is a barrier breakage, and that's how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Excellently done.
And he's got the double. That was fantastic. He's going to get the super clean right now. He's going to try to get the last kill to push it in.
And he breaks the barrier, cuts into the penalty.
Absolutely, with the splat. Let's see if his team can capitalize. They're playing some pretty strong defense, but they're grouping around. And Moosh is going to get a key kill right there that holds them.
You're absolutely right. And Moosh, we'll have to see what he's doing right here. But MC certainly doing his job collecting clams as well. But that's the ever aptly named the pity clam that Moosh is carrying.
Absolutely right. But he's making himself pretty visible. He's pretty far back, and it looks like they're gonna push up on him. And Inkjet, they're creating openings. Here they go. They're about to get the clam in again.
I do question the wisdom of trying to roll out with the Inkjet closing in on you. Oh my goodness, that is
great jumping shot.
Absolutely
Here comes
brutal.
Moosh got a great kill, but there goes the direct. Muddy's just gonna pick him off.
Goodness gracious me, Muddy, have you no sense of decency? This man absolutely closing down and clearing the club, and all of a sudden, the end is that much closer in sight. For the Cuttlefish, my goodness, a blast straight to the jaw does the job, and Muddy absolutely evacuate the dance floor. Muddy's coming through.
Absolutely. Oh, they're pushing up. One got through.
Wait a second, we're going to have to see who that is. Is it, it's Dan.
And he's going to get the clam in. Let's see if they can capitalize and toss some more in. Nope.
It doesn't look like they don't have any clams. They don't have any clams with which to capitalize on the MC, not really realizing there's no turf to be inked on that glass roof of the Schellendorf Institute. I wonder who commissions the Schellendorf Institute, but there you go.
Whoa.
On the top, they
go again.
And they have the clams to fill up the basket, putting the biscuits in the basket, and there it is, a knockout victory for the Cuttlefish, and that may very well do it.
Yes, in dominant fashion.
scoring goals left and right, dunking on them like LeBron James, and all of a sudden...
And Muddy with 26 kills.
My goodness, doing some work with that range blaster. And the range blaster, not really a weapon that is favored all that much. You would think in a very in-your-face mode, like Clam Blitz, but he found a way to make that work, let me tell you.
Yes, usually people employ a little closer range blaster, as long as it's not Luna. But range blaster recently in the meta has starting to become, it's started to come back a little bit. Especially very recently in the past couple weeks. And we're able to see why. I mean, he's able to effectively use that extra range to lock out the opposing team. They couldn't pull themselves together and really get a counter push.
You're absolutely right, and there was only so much one could do about that. That was an absolutely masterful performance by Muddy and Co. Certainly had a good deal of support, especially for people like Cora Cuddle and that close-range specialist in Guerin. But it seems like at the end of the day, there's the genetically altered mutant squids bowed out very quickly, maybe a little more quickly than they would have liked.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have at least liked to take the second set and take it to the third mode. But they weren't able to pull themselves together in the end. It's rather unfortunate, but we'll see how they're able to pull themselves together in games after this.
We certainly will, and it seems like it will be your team that will be determining exactly what happens in that regard. So,
yes, sir.
If you have to play Cuttlefish, and you certainly will at some point, perhaps in the finals of this tournament, we don't know. But now that you've seen exactly of what they are capable, how do you counter that?
Well, the one match that we were able to counter it pretty well and take off of Cuttlefish, I played a more aggressive weapon, a 10 attack, and really focused on Muddy. Once I drew him to start overextending and pulling away from the rest of his team, my teammates were able to get key kills on the others. And we were able to make a pretty significant push that they couldn't quite get back.
How do you kill a snake? You cut off the head, and that seems to be the strategy there. Astro, we certainly wish you the best of luck throughout this tournament.
Thank you.
As well as certainly we thank everyone who came out to the laboratory here in Hatboro, Pennsylvania. I'm Stuart Campbell. I'm joined here by Astro, and you can follow you on Twitter, right?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter. I am Astrocities. Yeah. You'll find me. I've got the tag. I've got some cool clips and stuff, and we'll see. We'll see. You'll probably be able to find my team as well.
Absolutely, and if you are so inclined, you can follow me on Twitter as well at Stu the Announcer. That's STU the Announcer. Folks, if you want to join us at the laboratory for some Smash Brothers action, you're certainly welcome to do that as well. We host every Friday. We Bear Bears. It's our weekly Smash Brothers tournament. And we're in our 138th installation coming up. 137 was quite the event. We had Spiro just dominating, winning both doubles with luck and singles action. Just an absolute veritable Swiss Army knife of a Smash player, that guy. But we certainly have all the top players from the Philadelphia area coming out. You might remember Juice playing Zero Suit Samus. You might remember Six, one of the best Sonics in all of the continental United States. And so many more coming through, convening here at the laboratory in Hatboro, Pennsylvania. And if you would like to join us, we host every Friday right here at the laboratory. Action kicks off at around 5 or 6, depending. So, folks, I mean, this is a big hub for Smash Brothers. It is the home to Smash Brothers in the Philadelphia area, and it's right here, twitch.tv/bros_Calamity.